I thought I was gonna be G.I. Joe. The Lord had other plans in mind. I've got at least 8 concussions that they know of, and from various blasts from IEDs, mortars, mines. The concussion by itself isn't so bad, but when you have a concussion on top of a concussion, you end up with brain damage. My last blast I was in was, they estimated 300 pounds worth of HME explosives that went off right underneath my seat. The only reason our truck wasn't vaporized was the enemy had buried it a little too deep, so we had a small soil buffer between us. After the blast, I started having tremendous amounts of head pain.
Peter has traumatic brain injuries. He has more than one. He has an occipital lobe tear in his neural pathways. On a normal day, Pete can look perfectly normal. Cognitively, as you ask him to focus, you'll start seeing his attention and his ability to concentrate start to dwindle. Because after a while, Peter's symptoms start showing up in the form that look sort of like a stroke. He starts losing his speech. He still has shrapnel and stuff in his body, so you'll see the disabilities start to present themselves in his trouble walking and pain, and his pain management is a constant adjustment. They call it a post-concussive migraine, but what it really means is head trauma pain. It's not like a normal migraine. You would think of it, it's so much worse because of how it affects him cognitively. The PTSD is a real everyday thing we deal with, and it can rear itself any day, any time of the week, and I won't even know it's happened right away. It's so broad. There's so much to it. There's so many layers to it. You just don't know what exactly you're dealing with, and then you'll start seeing it in others around you because you're dealing with their trauma, and then their trauma kind of comes on you.
He can get angry sometimes and yell, so that's definitely rough and a little scary sometimes, but I know it's not his fault. It's sometimes hard to understand, but I just have to remind myself what happened and why.
My daughter Livy is just the happiest little sunshine spot in my life. At 13 months, we started seeing her change she wasn't saying words anymore, and she stopped waving and doing things that she was doing, and then she fell silent by 15 months. I had almost no noise from her. When we finally came to the road's end at autism, at first I thought, how unfair. How completely unfair. And it didn't make sense to me. I couldn't make sense of it. But Olivia, she's bright and she's so beautiful and she is so happy and she sees the world in such a different way. And yes, we have to take different steps with her. We had to do things way longer, but there were things that were such a blessing in that. You know, the beauty of having resources around you are that you get a break. When we first went to the Johnny and Friends Warrior Getaway, I was nervous. I had not really been out with the family hardly anywhere, and I definitely didn't take Livy to stuff because if I did, I needed to be there constantly. I don't typically trust a lot of other people with her.
Johnny and Friends was the first place where we didn't have to worry. our youngest could go play, and she had trained professionals there with her at all times, which allowed me and my wife to be able to actually relax.
It was special for me because it allowed me to know there are answers. You may not have them all, but there are other people that are going through it with you. And that was reviving to me. And the respite it gave me, just to take a break, was so good.
They even gave us a date night together. That is a rarity. These warrior getaways have been really good for my family, between my kids and my wife and myself. Understanding these issues better it makes them so much easier to cope with, and not feeling like you're alone in all of this.
I think seeing other people there with the same things and seeing how they deal with similar things of that sort really helps me to be like, okay, well, I need to have more compassion because they're having more compassion.
Coming from the infantry and what I did, being able to relate and be the more sensitive father that she needs in her life is something that Johnny and Friends actually helped out with. We've gotten a much better relationship now than we ever had before. It feels like she understands a little more, and now, but I understand so much more on what she's going through and what she has been through. No other place I know has done that.
For veterans, there are wounds that no one can fix, only God can. And when you add in that element, you provide a level of healing that other people will not be able to find, because there is only a healing that comes from God. And there is only a surgeon like him that can go into those broken places and make them like new.
And every year we come back with something more. And that makes us a little bit more complete as a family. And that is why we will continue to come back every year. They will have us.